Public transportation is supposed to be ordinary, mundane even. But the people who ride beside you, the ones who never speak, never blink. Sometimes they were never meant to be there at all. Tonight, you'll hear 3 accounts sent 2 Black Lantern files. Each person insists what they saw was real, and each one wishes they never stepped onto that bus, subway, or taxi. I used to take the last bus home after closing the cafe midnight. Fog, empty streets. But every night, without fail, she rode with me. She sat in the very last row, a woman in an old beige coat, her hair hanging like wet ropes. She never looked up, never moved. The driver didn't acknowledge her. Nobody else ever boarded that late. The first night I saw her, I thought nothing of it. The second night, she was in the exact same position. By the 5th night, her posture hadn't changed, arms limp at her sides, chin tucked to her chest, hair hiding her face entirely. But it was her breathing that bothered me most. It was too slow, too heavy, like something trying to imitate human breath, but falling just short. One rainy night, I finally asked the driver, "Hey, who's that woman in back?" He didn't glance at the mirror. He didn't even blink. "There's no one back there." I laughed awkwardly. But he didn't. So when I stepped off at my stop, I dared myself to look back through the window. She was standing now, pressed against the glass. Face still hidden behind that curtain of hair, as if trying to peer out at me. I sprinted home. I should have stopped riding the bus, but I didn't. Not until what happened next. 2 nights later, the bus was freezing. My breath fogged the air. And when I sat, something cold brushed the back of my neck. I whipped around. She was sitting directly behind me. Closer than ever. I stumbled into the aisle, heart slamming. But then I noticed something impossible. Her feet weren't touching the floor. She hovered inches above it, swaying gently with the movement of the bus. The driver slammed the brakes and yelled, "Kid, get off." I did. He grabbed my shoulder with shaking hands. "You're not riding with her again," he whispered. I looked through the glass door as it closed. The woman was standing behind the driver now, her hair lifting, as if something beneath it was smiling. The bus pulled away. The lights inside flickered. And I swear right before it vanished around the corner, I saw the shadow behind her expand, swallowing the entire aisle. She has never left the route. And if you ever ride the final bus, don't sit in the last row. It was 2 a.m. when I boarded the night subway, just me and a man in a dark green jacket. He sat stiffly, staring straight ahead. I tried to ignore him, but the train lurched suddenly, and that's when he spoke. But the words didn't make sense. They spilled out backwards, like someone rewinding a tape at the wrong speed. His jaw moved strangely, too far back, like his joints weren't built right. I switched cars. He followed. I walked faster. He matched my pace but without ever turning his head. Still staring forward. When the doors opened at the next station, I bolted onto the platform. For a moment, I felt relief, until I saw the reflection in the black subway windows. The man was standing behind me. Close. Too close. But when I turned, no one was there. The lights in the tunnel flickered. And in that brief blackout, I saw him crawling out from under one of the benches. Limbs bending wrong, still whispering those reversed words. I ran up the escalator, but the whispering grew louder, closer. At the top, a security guard grabbed me. "Are you okay?" Before I could answer, a voice echoed from the tunnel. "Lil Yui DNF'd." When the guard played back the station's microphone, recording later, the words reversed cleanly. "I will find you. I moved states the next week. But every now and then, I hear that same voice whisper behind me just before the lights flicker." The bus doors hiss open with a mechanical sigh, releasing a stale gust of air that smells faintly of rust, damp fabric, and something older, something that doesn't belong. You hesitate at the threshold, clutching your bag tighter, but the driver doesn't look at you. His eyes are fixed forward, unblinking, as if the road itself has him in a trance. You step inside. The seats are cracked, their cushions torn open like wounds. The windows are fogged, streaked with grime, and every face you see looks wrong. Too still, too silent. The silence is unnatural. No coughs, no whispers, no footsteps. Just the low hum of the engine, steady and rhythmic, like a heartbeat buried deep underground. You slide into a seat halfway down the aisle. The bus jerks forward, and the city outside blurs into streaks of shadow. Streetlights flicker, but inside, the faces remain frozen. Across from you sits a woman. Her hair is limp, her skin pale, and her pupils are wide, so wide, they swallow the whites of her eyes. You blink, and she's closer. You never saw her move. Your throat tightens. You try to speak, but your voice dies before it leaves your mouth. No one reacts. At the back of the bus, a man begins to smile. His teeth are too many, layered like broken glass. You look away, but the reflection in the window shows him standing behind you. When you turn, he's still seated. The driver's hands grip the wheel tighter. His knuckles split, leaking something black that drips onto the floor. The bus doesn't stop. It passes every station, every light. The world outside grows emptier, darker, until there are no streets at all, lonely endless tunnels. You stand, desperate to leave. The doors won't open. The passengers all turn their heads in unison, their necks cracking like dry wood. Their eyes shine with a wet, animal hunger. The woman across from you whispers, finally breaking the silence, "You shouldn't have boarded." The bus plunges deeper into the tunnel. The hum grows louder, vibrating through your bones. You realize the bus isn't moving forward, it's descending. The lights overhead flicker, then dim. Shadows crawl across the ceiling, stretching like fingers. You grip the seat, but the fabric feels damp, sticky, as though it's breathing beneath your hand. You glance at the driver. His face is pale, his mouth slack, but his eyes remain locked on the tunnel ahead. His lips move, but no sound comes out. Then, faintly, you hear words whispered from somewhere beneath the floorboards. "Next stop, never." Your pulse races. You pound on the door, but the glass ripples like water. The passengers rise slowly, their movements jerky, limbs bending where they shouldn't. Their faces remain blank, except for their eyes that gleam with hunger. The tunnel walls pulse, alive, closing in. The bus is no longer a bus, it's a mouth, and you are inside it. You stumble down the aisle, desperate to escape. The woman follows, her head tilting at impossible angles. The man with too many teeth grins wider, his jaw stretching until it cracks. The windows show, not the tunnel, but something else. Vast, endless corridors, lined with doors. Behind each door, shadows shift. You hear faint knocking, scratching, whispers. You press your hand against the glass, It's warm. A heartbeat thrums beneath it. The bus jerks violently. You fall, hitting the floor. The passengers loom over you, their faces melting, features sliding down like wax. Their mouths open, but instead of voices, you hear the sound of rushing air like the bus inhaling. You crawl toward the driver. His hands are fused to the wheel, veins bulging, black liquid dripping steadily. His eyes roll back, and his voice finally emerges, hollow and echoing. You boarded the wrong ride. The tunnel narrows. The bus squeezes through, metal groaning, walls pressing closer. The lights flicker, then die. Darkness swallows everything. You feel movement, something slithering beneath the seats, brushing against your legs. You kick, but it coils tighter. The passengers lean closer, their faces inches from yours. Their breath is cold, damp, like the air inside a grave. The woman whispers again. We were waiting. You scream, but the sound is swallowed. The reflection in the window shows you still seated, calm, smiling. But it isn't you. The bus shudders, then stops. The doors hiss open. Outside is not a street, not a station. It's a vast cavern, walls slick and pulsing, ceiling lost in shadow. Shapes move in the distance, figures tall and thin, their limbs too long, their faces hidden. The passengers file out silently, one by one. You try to stay seated, but your body rises against your will. Your legs move, carrying you toward the door. The driver watches, his hollow eyes gleaming. His voice echoes one last time. Welcome home. You step into the cavern. The ground is soft, spongy, alive. The air is thick, heavy, filled with whispers. The figures approach. Their faces are blank, smooth, featureless. Yet you feel their gaze, piercing, endless. Behind you, the bus dissolves, metal melting into flesh, windows dripping away. It was never a bus. It was a mouth, and you were swallowed. The figures surround you. One reaches out, its hand cold and wet. It touches your face, and your vision blurs. You glance at the reflection in the cavern walls. You see yourself but smiling, eyes wide, teeth too many. The whispers grow louder, merging into a single word. Stay. You try to run, but the ground grips your feet. The figures close in. The cavern pulses, alive, breathing. The last thing you hear before the darkness consumes you is the driver's voice, echoing from everywhere at once. Next stop. Forever. Your vision fades. The cavern disappears. You open your eyes. You're back on the bus. The seats are cracked. The windows fogged. The passengers silent. The driver stares forward, unblinking. The bus doors hiss open, and someone else steps inside. The reflection in the window smiles. It doesn't stop staring.